exposed. Her Sil'S' shocking slap at the wedding sparked an incredible transformation that changed everything. Jenna stood in the corner of the lavish reception hall, the air around her thick with laughter and clinking glasses. Her sister-in-law, Emma, was radiant beneath the twinkling fairy lights, her wedding dress sparkling like 1,000 tiny stars. But no matter how beautiful the moment was, Jenna felt the familiar sting of inadequacy clawing at her insides. Her flower shop in Maplewood was struggling to stay afloat, and watching the affluent guests mingle, clutching their expensive cocktails and exchanging stories of lavish vacations, made her feel small. Each laugh echoed a reminder that she was the outsider in this world, an outsider drowning in her own fears of never being enough. As the ceremony dissolved into joyful chaos, Jenna's heart raced. It was supposed to be a day of unity, yet she sensed the growing tension in the air. When Emma raised her glass to toast, her cheeks flushed with fervor, Jenna felt the unease ripple through the crowd, a caution before the storm. And then it came. Emma, in an unexpected explosion of emotion, slapped Jenna. Gasps erupted like fireworks, the sound amplifying the silence that gripped the room. Faces turned towards Jenna, their shocked expressions felt like daggers. The truth was nakedly exposed, family ties twisted by wealth and judgment. That moment struck Jenna like a lightning bolt, igniting a fire within her. Those gasps transformed, fueling her yearning to shatter the facade of worth dictated by money. No longer could she accept the role of the hapless servant in a cast of wealth. Inspired by the chaos, she envisioned her flower shop at the local farmer's market, a colorful explosion of blooms infused with her heart and soul. Here, amongst the community that already felt like family, she would showcase her talent, redefine her worth, and gain their respect. But stepping into this dream was an uphill battle. Emma's family continued to throw disparaging comments Jenna's way like paint splattered on a canvas. Yet amidst the discord, her determination fueled her. A straight-talking war veteran next door at the diner became her anchor, sharing wisdom about resilience and grit. And a wise elder in the community, like a gentle breeze amidst the tempest, shared stories of her own struggles and triumphs. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. The sleepless nights of designing floral arrangements became a form of therapy. But with every beautiful bouquet, Jenna's heart grew heavy. Reconciling with Emma felt like trying to mend shattered glass. Each attempted conversation ended in misunderstanding, leaving Jenna feeling more lost. Then came the moment that changed everything. With fire in her belly, Jenna faced Emma, standing firm on the ground they once shared as sisters. Breathing deeply, she laid bare her vulnerabilities, longing to be seen not just as the florist struggling to survive, but as a woman bursting with ambition. The tension crackled in the air. Would her brave confrontation melt away the frozen walls built by judgment, or would it lead her deeper into the shadows of family strife? The answers hung tantalizingly close, leaving Jenna poised on the precipice of change, ready to fight for her place in this intricate family tapestry. Jenna took a deep breath, her heart pounding as she faced Emma. The world around them faded, a blur of twinkling lights and murmuring guests. In that moment, the only sound she heard was the tumultuous beat of her own heart, matching the intensity of the unspoken words hanging between them. "Why can't you just see me?" Jenna's voice quivered, but held a resolve she didn't fully understand. "I'm not just the girl in the shadow anymore. I'm not just the florist who sells flowers at a discount." Emma's eyes widened, a flicker of vulnerability showing through her previously tough exterior. "You think I haven't seen you? We've always been so different." "Maybe we are," Jenna insisted, stepping a little closer. "But differences don't mean we can't be a family. Can't we support each other instead of tearing each other down?" The room seemed to hold its breath. No one dared to interrupt this charged moment. They were witnesses to a confrontation that had been simmering for years, buried under layers of petty rivalries and social expectations. Emma crossed her arms, her posture defensive, yet her mouth trembled, as if she were searching for the right words. "I didn't mean to hurt you. It's just—" A half-hearted excuse hung in the air, but something more unsaid lurked behind her eyes. Jenna took the risk, vulnerability threading through her words. "I need your support. I need my sister-in-law to believe in me, and I need that more than anything right now." Emma's gaze dropped, and for the first time, Jenna saw the cracks in her sister-in-law's facade. "It's hard for me," she whispered, then cleared her throat.
When I see you, I can't help but remember how hard I worked to get here. A tight knot formed in Jenna's chest. She understood the fear in Emma's voice. Beneath the glitter and glam of the wedding, there was a shared vulnerability. It wasn't just Jenna who carried the weight of expectations. It was Emma, too. We can both thrive, Jenna said, her voice softening. You in your world of luxury and me in mine.
There's enough space for both of us. Emma's expression flickered between disbelief and curiosity, and Jenna felt the shift. Walls began to crumble, the awkwardness between them ebbing away like a tide receding, revealing the possibility of reconciliation. But just then, someone from the audience coughed, breaking the spell. The moment's electricity dulled as reality rushed back in, and Jenna feared they had lost their chance. Emma's lips pressed into a thin line, her resolve returning. You're not the only one who can be ambitious, Jenna, she challenged softly, a fire igniting in her eyes. But are you ready for the consequences? The world out there isn't easy. The newfound connection was brilliant and blinding, yet fraught with discord. What had started as a painful confrontation was evolving into a challenge, a spark that could either ignite a beautiful collaboration or lead to distant rivalry. I am ready, Jenna replied, determination rising again, though fear lurked just behind it. Ready to show you and everyone else who I truly am. Emma nodded slowly, the atmosphere trading tension for something else altogether, an intricate dance between sisterhood and rivalry. The next steps loomed ahead, a road unknown that could either unite them or drive them apart. As Jenna walked away with her heart racing, she couldn't help but wonder, had they truly turned a corner, or had she just stepped into a new battle of wills? Would this shared ambition drive them closer, or would it push them into a deeper conflict? The air was thick with unsaid promises, and Jenna stood at the edge of possibility, ready to unleash her dreams. But in the shadow of ambition, how far was she willing to go to protect her heart and their fragile bond? The reception buzzed around Jenna like static, each whispered conversation blending into an indistinguishable hum. She felt electrified but vulnerable, uncertainty swirling inside her like confetti in the wind. Had she truly connected with Emma, or merely skimmed the surface of deep-seated issues that had festered too long? The question echoed in her mind, stealing her focus as she moved through the sea of well-wishers. Mila, can you grab me that bouquet? She called out to her assistant, trying to rein in her thoughts. Flowers were familiar territory. Floral arrangements had been her refuge from everything else, her solace. Mila nodded, darting off amidst the flurry of guests. Jenna took a moment, soaking in the laughter around her. The celebration was real. Love was palpable in the air. Yet here she was, trapped in her own confusion, her heart still racing from that moment with Emma. A realization hit her like a sudden summer storm. How much did she truly want to bridge the gap with Emma? Jenna, a voice chimed, breaking her reverie. It was Leo, Emma's brother, and Jenna's close friend. His smile shone, bright and genuine, like a lighthouse in the fog. You did a phenomenal job with the arrangements. This place looks stunning. Thanks, Leo. It's all a team effort, she replied, pushing aside her whirlwind of emotions. He leaned in closer, lowering his voice. I saw you talking to Emma. What was that about? She hesitated, the weight of their conversation suddenly crashing back over her. I just needed to let her know how much I wanted her support. Leo raised an eyebrow. And did she give it? It's complicated, she sighed. I guess we're both trying to find our place in this family. A flicker of understanding passed between them. Leo had his own complicated relationship with his sister, and they shared a bond of navigating the uncharted territory of family expectations. They both stood on precarious ground. Before she could dive deeper into their conversation, an unnerving shadow loomed over them. It was Emma, approaching with purpose and energy. Jenna's heart pounded again, but this time it was more anticipation than fear. Jenna called out, her voice cutting through the chatter like a knife. Can we talk? Everyone fell silent, eyes turning toward the two women, thick with curiosity. The air between them crackled, tension rising anew, and Jenna felt the piercing gazes of the crowd on her back. Sure, Jenna replied cautiously, the earlier confrontation replaying in her head. What could Emma want now? They moved to a quieter corner, voices hushed but emotions flaring. I'm sorry for the way I've been, Emma said, her words rushed and earnest. I realized I've been pulling away out of fear. You and I were more alike than I thought. Jenna felt her breath catch in her throat. Emma was opening up, a rare glimpse behind her barriers. But I need to know you're serious about this, whatever this is, Emma continued, her eyes locking onto Jenna's. I can't afford to lose everything I've worked for just because you decide to dive in headfirst. Then let me prove it, Jenna responded, her voice steady. Let's lift each other up rather than compete. We can make something beautiful together. Emma nodded slowly, but there was something more in her gaze, an underlying challenge. All right, but I warn you, I play to win. Are you ready for that?
The challenge ignited something in Jenna, a spark of determination mixed with trepidation. This was the turning point. No more shadows, no more complacency. "Bring it on," Jenna replied, a smile creeping onto her face. But as they shared a tentative laugh, a loud crash erupted near the dance floor. Jenna and Emma both turned, panic gripping them. The sight of broken glass and a commotion sent jolts of alarm through the crowd, and moments later a shout pierced the air. The fragile atmosphere they had just started to build began to shatter, and Jenna couldn't shake the feeling. This was just the beginning of a much bigger storm. Would they withstand it together, or would they be pulled apart by their fears and aspirations?
The sharpness of that question cut through the joy of the moment, leaving her with one potent thought. Sometimes, the greatest transformations emerge from the chaos that surrounds us. Jenna's focus snapped back as she saw Emma's expression shift from hope to concern. The crash resonated through the air like a jarring reminder of their own fragile connection. They both instinctively moved toward the commotion, hearts racing in sync. The crowd had thickened and voices rose. "What happened?" Leo asked, pushing through the throng, his brow furrowed. Jenna caught sight of a table that had toppled over, champagne glasses shattered on the floor, glistening like diamonds against the polished wood. It was May, Emma's sister-in-law, who stood in the eye of the storm, her face flushed with anger. "You think you can just take what's mine?" she yelled, arms flying in agitation. "What's going on?" Emma shouted back, cutting through the chaos. "Someone just doesn't know her place," May spat, her eyes darting around to find a target. Jenna felt her heart plummet. The weight of the moment bore down on her, heavy and suffocating. She knew the underlying currents of rivalry and envy between the women. "May, calm down," Leo interjected, stepping forward protectively. Jenna watched as his demeanor shifted, trying to diffuse a situation that had escalated too quickly. But May wasn't having it. "Why should I? Watch this gold-digging florist trying to worm her way into our lives." The venom in her words hit Jenna like a punch to the gut. She had never felt more exposed in her life. "Enough," Emma said firmly, pushing past Leo to stand in front of her sister-in-law. "You'll regret those words." The crowd muttered, a ripple of whispers passing through. Jenna, feeling the weight of being at the center of May's outburst, stepped back, wanting to fade into oblivion. Was this what it meant to be part of a family? Was this the price for wanting to connect with Emma? "Jenna, don't let her get to you," Emma said, her eyes searching Jenna. There was fire in Emma's gaze, a determination to protect her, complicated but fierce. But behind that fierce protection, Jenna saw the worry and uncertainty creeping in. They had just started building something, and now it felt like a storm threatened to tear it apart before it could even take root. "What do you want from me?" Jenna asked, her voice trembling. "I don't want to fight. I came here to celebrate." "Celebration? This is a joke," May scoffed, her demeanor icy. "Everyone knows you're just a distraction for Emma. Think you can just come in, steal attention, and waltz out?" "That's not true," Emma's voice rose over the crowd, but Jenna felt small. The tension was palpable, and Jenna took a deep breath, reminding herself of her intentions. She wanted a partnership, not a battle. "I'm not here to compete," she said, each word fighting past the stone lodged in her throat. "I truly want to support Emma and to be part of this family, if you'll let me." For a moment, silence stretched, the weight of the unresolved hanging in the air. Then Emma stepped closer, her face a mask of determination. "You need to understand, May. Jenna's here to stay. She's here for the right reasons. Can't you just give her a chance?" The crowd seemed to shrink, anticipation hanging thick in the air. Jenna felt every gaze like a weight, both heavy and probing. "Maybe that's too much to ask," May said, her voice cooler. "But if you want in, you better be prepared for what's in front of you." "Then bring it on," Jenna said, the spark of defiance igniting within her. She felt alive, ready to embrace the tumult, ready to stand her ground. But deep down, a flicker of doubt lingered. What if standing her ground meant pushing away the one person she was trying to connect with? With that uneasy thought swirling in the depths of her mind, Jenna watched as May's face twisted into a smirk. The confrontation felt far from over. As people around them began to shift, murmurs turning to laughter, Jenna thought about how fragile their connection was, and how easily misunderstandings could arise without open communication. In a family full of complexities, where would her place truly be? A shadow mingled with the light of hope in her heart, but she was determined to see it through. "Let's figure this out, together," she murmured softly to Emma, hoping for a bond stronger than the chaos surrounding them. But would that chaos pull them closer, or tear them apart in the end? The uncharted territory of their relationship now loomed like a storm cloud on the horizon. What awaited them beyond this chaotic moment was still shrouded in uncertainty. Jenna inhaled sharply, her heart racing as she stood in the swirling tide of emotions around her.
The cheers and laughter had dissipated, replaced by a tense, simmering silence that crawled under her skin. She felt Emma's warm presence standing beside her, a source of comfort in the storm. But doubts threatened to unfurl like dark clouds overhead. "Are you okay?" Emma's voice was soft yet firm, a lifeline in the chaos. She reached for Jenna's hand, intertwining their fingers for what felt like reassurance. Jenna nodded, attempting to quell the tumult within. "I will be. I just didn't expect all this. Is this what family gatherings always look like?" Emma's expression softened, reflecting her understanding. "Not all of them, but May can be intense. She feels protective of her family. You're up against a lot right now." "Protective?" Jenna winced at the word. "Or controlling?" Emma sighed. "Maybe both. Just give it time. She'll come around, I hope." But Jenna noticed the flicker of doubt in her eyes, and it mirrored her own. This was just the beginning, and they had no idea how deep these family divisions ran.
Suddenly, the air was disrupted by a raucous laugh from May as she flanked Leo, who seemed to be trying to make light of the earlier incident. "Let's not play the blame game, huh?" she said, her smug expression cutting through the ambient noise. But Jenna felt something shift in the moment, the tension vibrating like a taut wire. She had had enough of playing the victim in this tumultuous family drama. "How about you stop playing the queen and start backing off?" Jenna shot back, surprising herself with the fierceness of her words. The crowd collective gasp was tangible. Emma's grip tightened around Jenna's hand, and Jenna turned to her, expecting to see shock or horror. Instead, she found raw admiration in Emma's eyes. "Now you're really pushing it," May scoffed, rage flooding her features. "No, what's pushing it is you treating me like a threat. I didn't ask to be part of this, but I'm here now. Maybe you should deal with that instead of making a scene." Jenna swallowed her fear, her heart pounding but emboldened by something inside her awakening. "Wow," Leo chimed in, breaking the brewing silence. "I didn't think you had it in you." "Neither did I," Jenna admitted, her cheeks flushed. She turned back to Emma, searching for support. "Is this how you're supposed to feel at a family gathering? Because I'm not sure I want any part of it." "Jenna," Emma started, urgency dripping from her voice. "Stop," Jenna interjected, needing to carve out her own space in this twisted world. "I've already tried. I'm done waiting for you or May to decide if I'm worthy of love or family. I want this. I want you. But not like this." Taking a calming breath, Emma stepped closer, her expression fierce with determination. "That's what I want too, Jenna, but it won't happen overnight. May act out of fear, not hate." "What does that even mean?" Jenna's frustration bubbled just under the surface. The depth of their emotions tangled together, swept up in a tide of anxiety and longing. "It means she sees you as a chain she can't control," Emma explained, softer now, her voice soothing. "You represent everything she's afraid of losing, and I don't want you to face that alone." In the swirl of voices, Jenna spotted May's eyes darkening, anger boiling beneath the surface. "You think having your little fling with this florist can replace what family truly is? Good luck with that." The words struck Jenna hard, but before she could respond, Emma squared her shoulders and stepped in front of May. "No more. This is not about you anymore. If you can't see Jenna for who she is, a wonderful person who cares about me, then it's your loss, not ours." The air crackled with tension, the crowd holding its breath. Could this really be the moment where the lines were drawn? Would they finally get solid ground or sink deeper into this family strife? Jenna looked between the two women, the uncertainty swirling like a whirlwind. She felt torn between her desire for acceptance and the hope that Emma's loyalty could be enough to counter the looming chaos. But would fighting together be strong enough to weather May's storm? Or would it only deepen the divide they were trying to bridge? Jenna braced herself, knowing a storm was about to hit, one that could change the family for good. Jenna's heart pounded like a drum in her chest as she faced May, who stood imperious, controlling the narrative like a puppeteer. The words hung heavily in the air, crackling with unresolved tension. Jenna held her breath, aware that she was standing at a precipice. Then, without warning, May stepped forward, her face a mask of anger. "You think you can just waltz in here, be a part of my family, and replace everything I've spent my life building? You have no idea what you're dealing with." The crowd shifted, senses heightened. Jenna could feel dozens of eyes watching her, judging her. The heat surged in her cheeks, but she wouldn't back down. "No, you're right, I have no idea. But that's because you refuse to talk to me, to see me as anything but a threat. What if I want to be part of this?" There was a trembling fierceness in her voice. Emma stepped forward, her grip on Jenna's hand the only anchor in this wild storm. "May, stop. This isn't just a game for Jenna. She's here because she loves me.
You need to realize that love doesn't diminish your family, it adds to it. The silence descended again, heavy and pregnant with possibilities. May's lips pursed tightly, but her eyes darted between Emma and Jenna, as if she were weighing their worth against the cost of her pride. Jenna took a deep breath, gathering all the courage she could muster. The words spilled out, raw and honest. I didn't plan to fall for Emma. I didn't plan to get caught up in this whole mess. But I'm here, and I want to be here. What more do you want from me? I'm not trying to take anyone's place. May's expression cracked just slightly, a flicker of vulnerability caught within her fierce demeanor. You don't understand, she said softly, a hint of sadness lacing her voice. All my life I fought to keep this family whole, and now it feels like I'm losing control. Jenna's heart ached at the admission. She saw the humanity behind May's rage, the fear of change. I get it, she replied, her voice softening. But trying to control everything won't keep it from falling apart. I'm here to support Emma. Isn't that what matters? We're all on the same team. The tightness in the air shifted, as if the storm clouds began to part, letting through patches of light. But just as hope sparked, Leo stepped in, voice booming. May, you need to listen. Jenna has fought for her place, and you've got to admit she's strong and worthy. Family isn't just blood, it's also heart and spirit. The murmurs of the crowd grew louder, a chorus of agreement rising up.
Jenna looked around, catching glimmers of support and understanding flowing from those present, friends who had seen their own struggles mirrored in this very moment. But just when Jenna thought the tide had turned, May shot back, her voice rising. This isn't about her. You think you can just turn my family into a soap opera? This is my reality. The words pierced through Jenna, leaving a sting of doubt in their wake. Was this really going to end in chaos? She glanced at Emma, who held her gaze, determination radiating from her. I will not let you push Jenna away, Emma said fiercely, her voice unwavering. We can only move forward if we choose to accept each other. For the first time, Jenna saw a crack in May's armor, an admission that perhaps her queenly reign was feeling a bit shaky. Everyone was waiting for a resolution, a moment that defined this family in a way that could heal instead of hurt. Jenna took one small step closer, her heart still racing. She saw this family, damaged but still alive, needed not a queen to rule, but a common bond to heal it. Suddenly, May angled her head, her demeanor shifting slightly, cracks starting to show. Maybe I don't know what I want, she whispered, almost to herself, as the anger softened. Jenna's breath caught. Was this the turning point they needed? Would their united front hold? Silence fell once more, punctuated only by the sound of shared breaths. Jenna felt the stirrings of hope. Yet before she could fully grasp it, a new voice trawled out from among the crowd, slicing through the moment and igniting the simmering chaos once more. Is anyone even thinking about what this family is built on? Because it seems like it's built on secrets and lies. A shadowy figure slipped past her, and Jenna braced herself for the fallout. The figure that had spoken emerged from the shadows, revealing itself to be Teddy, Emma's younger brother. His eyes sparkled with a mixture of defiance and guilt. The tension shifted again, wrapping around Jenna like a chill. What do you mean, Teddy? Emma exclaimed, her voice edged with confusion and frustration. You think this is all about you and your little love story? Teddy continued, his voice steady despite the tremor beneath it. It's not. It's about the mess we've made as a family. Secrets are tearing us apart. May looked thunderstruck, her authority faltering in the face of Teddy's outburst. What are you talking about? She demanded, but the heat in her tone was now laced with fear. Jenna felt her stomach drop. Teddy's words hung there, electrifying the room. She had always sensed that there were unspoken tensions swirling beneath the surface, and now they were being called into the open. What mess? Emma asked, stepping protectively in front of Jenna. What secrets? Teddy's expression faltered, caught in a web of loyalty and honesty. The kind that eats at you. Did anyone ever tell you how hard it was when Dad left? Or how May had to step up? How we all just pretended to be all right when none of us were. The shocked murmurs from the crowd swelled into a chorus of disbelief. Jenna felt the air thicken with unsaid things, and it was no longer just between her and May. This was systemic. The revelations stumbled over one another, a tide of forgotten pain. Jenna caught Emma's gaze, feeling the weight of everything they had both disregarded. I had no idea, Teddy, but these things aren't impossible to overcome, she said softly, willing her voice not to tremble. Talking can help heal. Yeah, well, sometimes it takes a power like love, Teddy said, gazing at Jenna with newfound respect. But we need all the pieces to come together. Emma needs you to be there for her, but we all need to hold each other up too. This family needs more than just patches over wounds. May shifted uncomfortably. I did what I thought I had to keep us together. With frail desperation, her eyes searched for understanding. I just wanted to protect everyone. By hiding? Teddy shouted, frustration erupting into the air. By acting like everything was fine when we were crumbling? There it was again, the truth laid bare, like raw flesh exposed to the air. Jenna could feel May's walls trembling. Silence hung heavy like a weight on their shoulders. It was as if they were all holding their breath, waiting for May to react, to either rebuild those defenses or break down entirely. In the eye of this storm, Jenna approached May once more, determined to forge a connection. May, you said you didn't know what you wanted. What about what you need? Love and healing can't grow in fear. May's gaze, once icy, now bore the anguish of a storm about to break. I don't want to lose any of you, she whispered, the fight slowly draining from her voice. Could this be the pivot point? Jenna felt the shift in the air, truth meeting the raw emotion of vulnerability. But before anyone could respond, a voice rang out, sharp and accusatory. And what about me? What about all the things you two are hiding? Jenna's heart raced again as all eyes turned to Teresa, another family member who had been standing apart, watching, but now moved in closer. What secrets are you talking about? Emma snapped, frustration flaring. Let's just say, not everyone is as innocent here as you think, Teresa shot back with a sly grin, pushing through the softening bonds of the moment and reigniting the chaos that had just started to settle. Jenna swallowed hard, aware that whatever was to come could unravel everything all over again. Would the threads they were desperately trying to weave back together snap under strain? What other weighty truths lay hidden in this family to emerge? The tension lay poised on the brink, and Jenna braced herself for what was about to unfold. A thick silence filled the room, reverberating with the intensity of unsaid truths. Teresa's implication hung in the air like a storm cloud, dark and foreboding.
Jenna's skin prickled, the tension tightening around her throat. She fought to keep her composure, searching for the right words. "What's that supposed to mean, Teresa?" Emma asked, her voice shaky but firm. "What do you know?" Teresa shrugged, her smirk never wavering. "Oh, come on, you really think I don't see what's going on? You all act like everything is peachy, but I see the cracks. I'm not blind." May stepped forward, her voice trembling. "What do you want me to say? That I'm not perfect? That I've made mistakes? We all have. Can't we just move past this?" "You can't just ignore the past because it's uncomfortable," Teresa pressed, her tone sharp. "That's the problem with this family. You all bury stuff, deep. When are you going to face it?" Jenna watched May's face twist in conflict. The walls around her, which had seemed to crumble moments before, now felt fortified again. It was like the air had grown thick and suffocating, each pulse of resentment driving them further apart. "Teddy's right," she said, her voice catching. "We need to talk about these things. Ignoring it only makes the wound fester." "Wounds don't get better just because you talk about them," Teresa shot back, her eyes flashing. "Sometimes they need to be ripped open." In that moment, a flicker of fear crossed May's face, and for the first time, Jenna saw how deep the hurt truly ran. "I can't bear to think about that," May whispered. "If I open old wounds, what happens to us?" Emma stepped in, her eyes welling with tears. "But if we don't try, we'll never heal. We'll just continue this cycle." She looked at Teddy, then back at May. "We can't face this alone. We all share this pain." A murmur ran through the crowd, gathering momentum. Faces turned toward one another, now reflecting a mix of hurt, fear, and a glimmer of hope. Jenna felt her heart race as she realized what might be possible. Could they find the courage to pull these threads closer together, to make something real? "Come on, May," Teddy encouraged gently. "Please, just tell us what you're feeling. No more hiding." May hesitated, her gaze locking with Jenna's. "I feel like I've been holding everything together because I was scared. Scared of losing you all. Scared that if I showed how vulnerable I was, everything would collapse. It's easier just to pretend." Tears flooded Emma's eyes as she stepped forward. "We're stronger together, even in our flaws. Please just be real with us." Jenna held her breath, hoping this would tip the balance. The moment felt like a fragile glass teetering on the edge of a table, ready to fall. Then May took a shaky breath, catching everyone off guard. "What if I told you that I've been struggling, that I feel so alone, that I feel like I don't belong in my own family?" Gasps echoed around them like a wave crashing on a rocky shore. May's vulnerability had peeled another layer off the tension, exposing the rawness beneath.
"I've made decisions that hurt you all, decisions I thought were for the best, but I was wrong," she continued, her voice breaking. In that instant, the room seemed to shift, the energies flowing towards understanding instead of blame. This was the moment of reckoning. Was it too late to work things out? Would they find a way to heal, or would these new storms tear them asunder? Just then, Teresa crossed her arms, still skeptical. "That's all well and good, but what about those secrets you're hiding? What's next? Or is that only for the select few to discuss?" Jenna's heart sank again, feeling the fraying threads ready to snap. What more was there to uncover? As each storm cloud threatened to burst, Jenna braced herself for the answers that were about to spill. Could they weather this storm as a family, or were they destined to drown in their own revelations? May stood there, her vulnerability hanging in the air, each breath a quiet plea for understanding. The room felt heavy, charged with the weight of everything left unsaid. Jenna could see the discomfort etched across her family's faces, the realization of cracks they had tried to paint over. "Secrets?" May echoed, her voice strained. "What secrets? I'm already telling you everything." Teresa pressed her lips together. "Are you sure? Because it doesn't feel like we're getting the full picture." Her challenge hung between them like smoke, thick and suffocating. "Enough!" Jenna burst out, the heat of the moment igniting a fire inside her. "Can we not add to the chaos right now? May just opened up in a way we've all been avoiding. Let's focus on that." Emma nodded, wiping her tears away. "May, I'm sorry if we've contributed to you feeling alone. We never wanted that." May's eyes softened as she held her sister's gaze. "I thought you all didn't want to hear it. All my fears. I thought they would just make things worse." "They already have," Teresa said, her voice ice cold. "That's why we need to dig deeper. If you don't face those fears, they'll just keep coming back. You'll keep feeling alone." Jenna inhaled sharply. Teresa's words were true, a fact that stung like salt on raw wounds. The room shifted as the family's focus returned to May, a flame of determination flickering to life. "What if I told you about Mom and Dad? What if—" May's voice trembled as she ventured deeper. "What if I told you they fought to keep things together, but it cost them everything? They didn't show weakness, and I'm scared that if I show mine, I might lose you all." The silence grew, love and pain wrapped tight together like a stubborn knot. Each face reflected familiarity with that fear, the fear of being lost. Jenna stepped closer, feeling the gravity of May's words. "You won't lose us," she whispered, hope edging around the edges of despair. "Maybe we've gotten it wrong," Teddy said, his voice steadier now. "Maybe we should have been more open about all of it." "We each thought we were protecting everyone by hiding." May nodded slowly. "I just didn't know how to start." "Then let's start now," Emma replied, her voice firm. "No more pretending. This isn't a race. We've got time, as long as we're together." "What about Dad?" Teresa asked, her brows furrowing. "If we're digging up all the pasts, what are we going to do about him?" May looked away, her expression shifting, the weight of that question suddenly heavy on her shoulders. "I don't know if I want to open that door." "Why not?" Teresa pressed. "Because it's easier to keep him silent than to face it? We can't just keep brushing it off. It's part of our story, too." Jenna's heart raced as the family's tension swelled again, this time bringing fresh air into the room. "What if we looked at it together, one step at a time?" May's hands fidgeted together, uncertainty alive in her eyes. "But what if the truth hurts too much?" "It will," Teddy said gently, "but we will go through it together, whatever that means. Family doesn't stop when it gets hard. It means sharing the pain, too." The truth hung there, raw and honest. Past hurts, buried deep, rising back up like ghosts. Jenna glanced at her family, each face a mixture of fear and a flicker of resolve. They could choose to face the past together instead of sinking under its weight alone. Just then, a knock echoed through the silence, sharp and uninvited. The sound broke their moment, the tension crackling in the air. Everyone turned to the door, hearts racing. Who could that be? With a sinking feeling, Jenna knew this new arrival could shift everything again. Would they be forced even further apart, or would they find a way to bind their secrets together? The door swung open, revealing a figure cloaked in shadows.
It was Sam, Jenna's mentor from the flower shop, with his weathered hands cradling a bundle of flowers, as colorful as the celebration outside. There was no mistaking the determination etched on his face. The chaos inside the room suddenly felt very real, yet his presence, calm amidst a storm, brought a renewed sense of hope. "Evening, everyone," he said with a tight smile, clearly sensing the emotional whirlwind. "I hope I'm not interrupting?" The room shifted, like a cloud breaking to allow sunlight through. It was as if Sam's arrival carried a much-needed energy, a reminder that their struggles could blossom into something new. "What are you doing here?" Jenna asked, stepping toward him, partially grateful, partially bewildered. "How did you know?" His blue eyes flickered, understanding her need for support more than she realized. "I know when someone needs a little encouragement, especially when they're feeling overwhelmed. Plus, I brought these." He gestured to the stunning flowers, bright and lively. "Thought everyone deserved a little beauty today, despite, well, everything else." The crowd settled, shifting their focus from simmering tensions to the vibrant blooms.
It was as if nature itself was providing a balm for the wounds laid bare in that moment. Jenna took a deep breath, feeling that familiar spark of passion she found in flowers, and it was contagious. May, unexpectedly softening as she caught a bouquet's vibrant colors, asked, "Can we all help you with these? It feels like we need to create something beautiful right now, not just tear down." Sam's grin turned bright with recognition, while the surrounding energy transformed. "Absolutely. Let's make something together, something that represents each of your unique styles." A collective sigh swept through the group. Jenna shot Emma a glance, her heart fluttering with a sense of unity she hadn't felt before. Maybe this was the turning point they were all yearning for, a chance to mend and heal together through a shared love for creation. Together they set to work, laughter and creative banter weaving through the air. As they shaped the flowers into arrangements, Jenna felt something shift within her. Each bouquet seemed to reflect their struggles and triumphs, binding their fears together in a tapestry of color and beauty. As the final touches were placed, Jenna looked up to see Emma standing before her, a bouquet laden with blossoms representing hope. "Jenna," she said, her voice steady and filled with emotion, "this is our first step towards bridging the gaps, isn't it?" Jenna nodded, tears welling in her eyes as she held Emma's gaze. "Yes, it feels like we're finally embracing what it means to be a family." The atmosphere shifted again, this time filled with warmth and connection rather than tension. May, surrounded by their creations, watched silently, her heart opening further. "We can keep working together, can't we?" she said softly, the walls around her beginning to dissolve. "Absolutely," Jenna replied, taking a step forward. "Let's not only heal, but thrive. We have so much to learn from one another." The shadow of doubt lifted, revealing newfound strength. Jenna turned to the others, excitement bubbling through her. What if we had floral workshops together, sharing our gifts with the community that supports us? The idea hung in the air as everyone began to nod, feeling the weight of possibility bloom around them. Their combined passions could be the foundation for more than individual success. It could ignite a shared path towards understanding and support. As the beautiful arrangements filled the room, Jenna felt a wave of warmth and resolve wash over her. A transformation had taken root, drawing them away from division and towards togetherness, with every petal symbolizing their rebirth from chaos. Above the vibrant blooms, underneath the twinkling lights, they stood united, ready to face whatever storms might come next. Everyone had a part to play, none more crucial than the other. They were a family, imperfect and complex, but together they could weather anything.
"All right, family," May said, a newfound sincerity in her voice. "Let's show the world who we truly are." And with that, Jenna knew this was just the beginning. Every challenge ahead only served to strengthen their bond, cultivating a garden of love and resilience. Together, they would blossom. Just as the night was beginning to settle in, Jenna thought of the journey they had embarked on, a heartfelt tapestry of transformation woven by their hands. She felt lighter somehow, free from the shadows of her past. And as the laughter around her rang with the promise of tomorrow, she whispered a silent vow. They would nurture this change, and nothing would tear them apart again. So stand with your family, whoever that may be, and embrace the transformation you seek. Life is too precious for anything less. Now, don't just walk away. Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm. Your support matters. Comment your reactions and feelings about this ending. Let's celebrate together. And share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. This truly is the moment to show your support, so don't wait not even one more second to share. Let's keep these powerful stories alive.